Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. How you guys doing? A lot of content I'm throwing at you guys lately. Hopefully you're keeping up. I appreciate you guys. The channel just hit 80,000 subscribers. That is really cool. So I appreciate you guys who subscribe. Turn the bell notifications and to support the channel every day by dropping a comment or leaving a like. I don't thank you guys enough, so I appreciate it. So today we're going to talk about 10 really awesome champions. I actually love a lot of these champions, and I found out when kind of aggregating the information for this video, I found out a little something about myself. I love champions who have really good passive abilities, like the Drakes, for example, but today we're going to focus on just epic champions, mainly because of Iragoth the Eternal Dragon, one of the 2 new bosses added to the game, who puts all champions' skills on cooldown. So that puts a huge skyrocket of value into these passive champions. You can't put passives on cooldown. So these are champions you're going to want to pull out of the vault or invest in if you happen to pull them, because again, they're really useful now, not just against the new dragon in a variety of areas, but it feels like against Doom Tower bosses, these champions can be used against multiple of these bosses. So let's take a quick look at Iragoth the Eternal Dragon, just kind of break down how the skills work from the video that was on Plarium's YouTube channel. Probably about a minute long. Go ahead and fast forward if you don't care and you want to jump into the champions.
Iragoth, the Eternal Dragon, and her 2 types of minions, Eternal Priests and Eternal Guards. The way the Eternal Dragon fights is unlike anything you've ever seen in boss battles so far. She centers around increasing the cooldowns of your team's active skills, then taking advantage while you can't do much about it. Her first skill is called Spike Storm, and it's a strong AoE attack that prevents your team from using their active skills for 1 turn. That's the easy part. Next up, she's got the 1-2 combo of Soul Burst and Spirit Rush. Soul Burst hits all your champions, then puts every single one of their skills on full cooldown. After that, it boosts the dragon's turn meter for every turn of cooldown remaining across every single one of your team's skills. This means she often immediately follows up with Spirit Rush, which is a real heavy hitter. The damage of this AoE attack increases by 20% for every single turn of cooldown remaining on each skill throughout your whole team. Strategy here is going to be key, and the dragon is going to give you something completely new to think about in the world of raid bosses. The more active skills your champions have, the more hurt she's going to bring. So team composition will be a challenge in its own right. And stronger skills usually have longer cooldowns, so managing that risk-reward balance is a big part of it. Throw in the fact that you have to deal with her minions, and you're going to need to make a lot of tough calls and react to the situation on the fly.
Alright guys, I made an edit or 2 there just to shorten it up, but you guys get the point. Long cooldowns, not your friend. Passive abilities that can't be put on cooldown, that's your friend. And again, these champions are good in a variety of places, not just against the new dragon. So let's start out with one of the OGs, but an incredible champion in Vrask. Vrask has his passive where basically it makes him one of the best healers in the game, certainly one of the best epic healers in the game. Heals all allies by 10% of his max HP when he inflicts a critical hit. This is going to be a similar story for a lot of champions on this list, a lot of passive champions in general. But if you put these guys or gals in Relentless gear, it's just going to get more out of their passive because they proc 2 turns in a row, and then they do whatever they do on their passive again, right? So the rest of his kit is nothing to write home about. All you really need to know is you can put this dude in Relentless, put him in a shield set, get extra utility out of him, and he's an incredible healer. He also has a good dungeon aura for defense by 33%. That will help you out, obviously not in Doom Tower, but in dungeons. So Vrask is definitely a great champion. He's also on the 10 times chance right now that is going on inside the game. I'm actually going to go ahead and give a shout to one of the weaker passives we have on the list in Klodd Beast Feeder, but his kit overall I'm a big fan of. A very fast champion at 110 speed, and also just like Vrask, you can put him in a shield set to get 3 rounds of shield to help you out, help your team kind of get into the flow of things once you get to those bosses. So he has an increased speed, increased accuracy for 2 turns, which is a great ability on Beast Escape. He also has an AoE shield based on his max HP on a 3-turn cooldown, and then he has a decreased crit rate, but his passive is heals the ally with the lowest HP by 10% of their max HP at the start of this champion's turn. So a nice kind of bonus heal to help your team out. And again, when you have a team of 5 of these passives, they all kind of stack and add together to where every time any of your champions gets a turn, they're doing something beneficial to your team that cannot be put on cooldown. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Another OG champion who's really, really good. I think a lot of players are going to lean on Jareg on their teams. And again, high HP. We're noticing a theme here in these first three champions. This passive is fantastic. She plays a 15% continuous heal buff on an ally for 1 turn whenever an ally loses 20% of their max HP in 1 hit. Wow, what a great passive. And then he's also bringing in increased defense and an ally protection on all allies on a 4-turn cooldown for 2 turns. So half of basically the duration of the battle, assuming you make him fast enough, all of your allies will have increased defense as well. And then he has a decreased attack on his A1. This guy's really, really good, and he has HP in all battles by 33%. That is an aura, obviously, that you can use in Doom Tower. I have a feeling that a lot of you guys may be running Jareg as your aura lead if you have him against the new Eternal Dragon. So that is Jareg, very, very good champion. I want to talk about one of my personal favorites. You guys been watching the channel probably know how much I love Skytouched Shaman. I think she's one of the better epic champions in the game, and she stands right alongside Vrask as one of the best healers in the entire game of any rarity. On her passive here, damages this champion by 10% of their max HP at the start of each turn. Heals all allies except this champion equal to half of the lost HP. You can put her in a frenzy set, you can put her in an immunity set to help, circumvent the decreased speed and the fear that she has a 50% chance of placing on herself with this passive as well. We also have a revive on death and a block debuffs buff on a 4-turn cooldown, a great ability in Immortal Skies because it's also removing all debuffs from all allies. You add to that, she has an AoE attack on her A1 with a self heal or turn meter fill, and then again, an all battle HP aura by 25%. So again, you can run Skytouch as an aura lead as well. Boy, am I just a huge, huge fan of this champion. Moving right along here, man, we're going in world record speed for yours truly. Usually I'm a little bit long-winded here, but we're moving at a good pace. Don't jinx it, man. Doompriest, very good champion. She's also on a 10-time special pull event right now. She has a very, very special passive. Heals all allies by 7.5% of their HP and removes 1 random debuff from them at the start of this champion's turn. She is an OG champion like Vrask, but a very, very good one at that. This passive is all you really need to know about her. It's incredibly useful. She has a force ally speed in all battles. Not sure about that one. Increased attack on a 3-turn cooldown and a increased crit rate on a random ally. This is the weak version. So the rest of her kit, it leaves a little to be desired, but you cannot underrate this passive. It is a game-changing passive that makes it more than worth building this champion out just for that passive ability. All right, next one is going to be a new champion. And this is going to be a one that I actually have built out, and I'm a big fan of her. It's Godseeker Aniri. Godseeker Aniri's passive is really cool as well. The passive effect of her passive, the passive has a passive, increases the amount of healing all allies receive by 10%. Now again, this is going to be really, really advantageous when you pair her with a bunch of other passive abilities that also heal. You know, we're not talking about legendaries in this video, but we're talking about like Silva Drake type champions as well. There's going to be extra 10% heal off of all those passives that can really compound in terms of your overall heals. Active effect. If this ally is about to get killed, if an ally is about to get killed by a fatal hit, preempts that hit and instantly places a revive on death buff on them for 1 turn before the damage is taken. This is on a 4-turn cooldown, so every 4 turns, this active effect, this basically save your life before you die effect, goes into effect. And she also has a revival on her A3. She also has an AoE attack with an AoE heal, with a buff increase, with a debuff. Decrease the duration of all buffs, decrease buff on enemies, increase buff on allies. There we go.
Wow.
And she's also damage based on enemy on her defense, excuse me, on enemy defense. That'd be weird.
I never asked for this.
Man, this video was going so well until we got to Godseeker Aniri. We tried to go too fast. All right, let's move back to Knight Revenant here, guys, and talk about the next one. She is another really, really good champion. A lot of you guys know her from Clan Boss. She does have an aura, defense in all battles. Again, another viable aura for you guys to use against Doom Tower bosses. Increased defense, block debuffs on a 4-turn cooldown. Very, very good support support ability. On the A1, she has decreased attack. You'd love to see it. And then on her very unique one-turn cooldown, Untouched by Death passive, when booked, has a 50% chance of completely blocking incoming damage when an ally is attacked. Occurs once per turn, meaning a strong AoE is only going to have a 50% chance of blocking damage on one ally, but still a very, very clutch passive ability. A beautiful addition to an already really, really good kit with a really, really solid aura as well. Next up is going to be, I can't believe how fast we're moving here. I can't believe it, guys. By the way, another legendary shout out, Drekstar Blood Twin. I mean, God, he's really good. Drekstar's value is just like boom. It's parabolic, as the kids say. So is this the last guy I have for you guys? Is this the last guy I have? I think so. We have another kind of newish champion, is Vogoth. Vogoth is a really good champion, guys. He has two passives. Number one puts a leech. When attacked, places a leech debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. Love leech, and that's 100%, and that happens every time he's attacked. That's really, really solid. Leech debuff, I'm a big fan of having that as an addition to your team. Also, if the attacker is under provoke, he has a 100% chance when booked of increasing the cooldown of a random skill of the attacker by 2 turns. Occurs once per attack. Whenever this champion is attacked, he heals all allies by 50% of the damage received. 25% against bosses, or from bosses. Wow, that's really, really solid, right? That's really solid. And I lied, I do have one more champion who's not as solid as Vogoth. And then attacks all enemies, has a provoke, also has a decreased attack when he does land the provoke on a 3-turn cooldown, and on the A1 is a 3-hitter. Each one of those 3 hits has a 40% chance of increasing the duration of one random debuff on the target by 1 turn. Only thing about him is he's slow, but pretty much every provoke champion in the game is built slower. Okay, guys, I lied. One more champion I want to include on the list. I thought about adding Rector Draft, but I wanted to make Skullcrown the 10th champion on this list, because Skullcrown, not only does she have a very unique passive, an unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn, basically saving her life every 4 turns when booked, but also 2 strong AoE attacks if you need a damage dealer and you need a weaken, and it's on an A1, which again, no cooldown, and the A2 is on a 3-turn cooldown. So I think that ought to help a lot of you guys. If you pair her with Senesha, she also has an additional revive this champion with 30% HP once she dies. So another kind of 2nd or 3rd chance at life, 4th chance at life if you pair her with Godseeker Aniri. So guys, thanks again for 80,000 subscribers. I really appreciate the support you guys have given me here on the channel. All the feedback you guys have given. Couldn't be here, obviously, without you guys, right? And let me know, out of these 10 champions, who are you planning to use against the new Eternal Dragon, and who did I snub off this list? What's an epic champion with a really great passive that I did not include on this list? Can't wait to hear from you guys. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.